The fifth stone is confession. Our Lady says, the West has forgotten confession. Go to confession at least once a month. If people in the West went to confession at least once a month, whole regions of the West would be converted. Go to confession, make a humble and sincere and complete confession of all your sins. This is what she says. Okay, I think of confession as doing your laundry. So, how often do you wash your clothes? Every 3 years? Every 7 years? Every 25 years? You haven't washed your clothes since your first Holy Communion? Okay. If we don't do our laundry regularly, everyone here is going to know it. You'll be in the corner, Billy no mates. We'll all be in the other corner, gagging and retching, holding our smelling salts, right? Okay. If we don't go to confession regularly, the angels will be gagging and retching. You know, they tell a story of Catherine of Siena. This pompous woman went to see her, and for the whole interview, Catherine turned away 90 degrees like this and wouldn't look at her. And when the woman left, then Catherine turned back. And Catherine's friend said, "Why did you do that? That's strange." And she said, "Couldn't you smell the stench? The stench of the woman's soul." Okay. Now to confess, it's very easy to confess. Just remember this short sentence with 3 words. Confess your sins. Full stop. Period. Okay? Confess your sins. By emphasizing each word, you'll know how to confess. Number 1, confess. It must be a confession. Don't come and say, maybe I did this, Father, maybe I did that. Because then I'm thinking, maybe I absolve you, maybe I don't. What? Did you do it? Did you not? Just say it. Okay. Number 2, confess your sins. Don't confess other people's. Father, I get so angry. My husband, he's such an idiot. He makes me so mad. Still, he's not as bad as my daughter-in-law. She's evil. And I don't like the way she's raising my grandchildren. Still, she's a saint compared to my parish priest. Oh, he's awful. I can't stand him, the new one. He's doing all these old-fashioned things. Oh, okay. If you want to confess other people's sins, I'm happy to absolve them. You can go to hell, they'll be okay. You know, that's great. Confess your sins. Confess your sins. Life is too short. Don't confess other people's. Number 3, confess your sins. They must be sins. Don't confess feelings, emotions, struggles, tendencies, sentiments. Father, my brother is a drug addict and he asked me for money. I didn't give him any. Well, you did the right thing. I know, but I feel so bad. Well, you did the right thing. I know, but I still feel so bad. Okay, you need therapy. Okay? Do not confess feelings or emotions. Confess sins, actual sins. Okay? So just remember that short sentence, confess your sins. And by emphasizing each word, you'll know how to confess. Okay? Now, do not do anything daft, like going and saying, I haven't been to confession in 3 years, I have no sins. Don't say that, that's very daft. Why? What does the Bible say? If we say we have no sins, the truth is not in us, and we make God to be a liar. Okay, don't say that, okay? But, okay, look, if I go skiing every 7 years, am I going to be the world's greatest skier? No. If you confess your sins infrequently, you're not going to be great at it, okay? And you'll say something silly, like, I have no sins. And also, try and resist the temptation to tell the priest how marvelous you are. I often get people telling me, oh, I'm a really good person, you know, I haven't killed anyone, I'm fantastic. Who does that sound like in the Gospels? The Pharisee. Lord, I thank you that I'm not like other men. I'm fantastic, I'm amazing, I pray, I fast, you know. So don't come and tell the priest how amazing you are. If you want me to absolve all your good deeds, I will. We'll cancel them. You know, your self-righteousness has cancelled it already. So don't do that either. Resist the temptation to tell stories. Okay? Father, last Tuesday, no, I tell a lie, it was Wednesday, because that's my bingo night. The doorbell went, and I went to answer the door. I looked through the people, and it was my friend Mildred. And I got a fright, so I ran out the back door. And I was in a rush. I put on my brown shoes, not my black ones, and I jumped over the hedge. But Mildred had nipped round, and she saw me in the avenue behind my house, and she said, "Oh, Betty, you've got your brown shoes on, not your black ones." Okay. If you do this sort of thing, the priest is there scratching his head thinking, "Are you confessing a fashion faux pas? What is this?" Okay? Just say, I stole something, it's a pair of shoes, and I lied. Don't even mention Mildred by name, keep it anonymous. Okay? But don't tell stories. Do not tell stories. Just get to the heart of it. If it's relevant, there's some details and circumstances, then tell the priest those things, okay? But resist the temptation to tell stories. And lastly, remember, confession is not just the forgiveness of sins, it is God giving us grace to change us. Imagine if there was an ATM machine, a cash point machine, churning out free cash, free money, and you can take as much as you can carry. How often would you go? Every 7 years? Every 25 years? You'd be there every day, wouldn't you? And you'd bring your family and friends, wouldn't you? Yes, you would. I want you to remember that you would do that for filthy money, which is going to rot in this life. What should we do for treasure in heaven, where thieves cannot break in and steal, where moth and rust cannot destroy? Okay, what should we do for treasures in heaven? But it is like that. I met a saint here in Medjugorje. He was a young lad from Northern Ireland. And I think I met him when he was 16, and he died at the age of 19. And he knew he was dying, but he made his entire family come to Medjugorje. Uncles, aunts, cousins, a huge crowd of people. And he forced them to go to confession. Okay, to me, it took 6 hours. And he went last, because he said, in the life of the world to come. Okay? So remember, we must encourage also our loved ones to go to confession. Maybe they're scared. Do not be frightened of the priest. We've heard everything under the sun. Nothing excites us or interests us. We don't care. We don't remember your sins. I don't look at you and think, "Oh, you dirty stop out. I know what you got up to." No. We do not remember. And people often say to me, "Father, I went to you yesterday for confession." I look at them thinking, "I've never seen you in my life. I've never seen you. I don't remember." And this is not just a racism on my part, thinking that all white people look the same. Okay? I just do not remember. I do not remember, and I don't care about your sins. You're confessing them to God. I am there to give you His forgiveness. Okay? So don't be afraid of confession. Shame. If shame did not stop us sinning, don't let shame stop us being reconciled to God. Okay? So remember, the 5 stones are: pray with the heart, pray the rosary from the heart, Holy Mass, go as often as possible, treasure it, receive Jesus' word in a state of grace. Number 3, Holy Bible, read it every day, the whole family, root it in your heart, especially the Gospels. Number 4, fast on Wednesdays and Fridays. If you are unwilling to fast, any sacrifice counts. Our Lady will accept it. She says she cannot convert people without our fasting and sacrifices. And remember at Fatima, she said, today more souls go to hell because not enough people pray and sacrifice for them. Number 5, confession. Confess your sins humbly at least once a month. Okay?